Hey there, friends. This is Jimmy Maverick. How you doing? Hey, I am getting. We are going to watch a draft right now, a live draft that I did, a high stakes draft. This is my first high stakes draft of 2024. Very excited about the results. I think it turned out really well, but I wanted to kind of talk about why I did this strategy, because you're going to find, I think that most of you that follow the council are going to be like, what the hell am I doing? Well, I'll tell you what I'm doing. Okay, so this is, it's the Fantasy Football Players Championship, which is a high stakes tournament that I compete in. It's got a 12-week regular season. Playoffs are week 13 and 14, and then weeks 15 through 17 is the tournament to win $1 million. That's essentially what it is. It's a high dollar thing, but the first thing you need to do is you need to win your league, because only the first and second place player makes it to the bonus rounds to try to win the big money. And so you want unique builds. You want to be able to compete. And what happened was on this draft was that I was in the 12th position. And so there was a couple players that I wanted to get, but this is also a tight end premium league. So that means that tight ends earn 1.5 points per reception, which makes them especially valuable as compared to regular leagues. Like, I would not do this strategy in a PPR or a half PPR league. It would be stupid. The other reason why I did the strategy is because it is a double flex. There's 2 flex spots instead of 1. And so I started out, and here's what I did. I'm just going to tell you right now. Started out, all the guys that I wanted in the first round were gone. So I decided to go, I'm going to lead where I can instead of following and trying to pick either the 7th best wide receiver or the 5th best running back. I'm like, I'm going to go and I'm going to dominate the tight end position. I'm going to try to dominate the flex. So I took 2 tight ends to start. And this is not something that I would recommend in a regular league, but in this tight end premium, double flex, it works. It's a good strategy. But anyway, we're going to go through the first few rounds here, and so just take a look at it. Let me know what you think. Did I screw up? I don't know. I don't think I did. I actually kind of like this team. Projections are very, very strong on it, and I've got some nice upside players and a nice stack. So anyway, let's watch it, and we'll do it right now. All right, folks, how you doing? I am going to be doing a high stakes draft tonight. This is a $350 entry fee. This is on the Fantasy Football Players Championship, the FFPC. I love this format. It's a tournament format with $1 million grand prize. So you kind of want to have unique builds. You want to, and you need to play to the strengths of the draft board. One of the big things is that this is a tight end premium league. So tight ends get 1.5 points per reception, full PPR for everybody else. And I am picking 12th. So this is interesting, right? I have not drafted from the 12th position in a while. But what I need to do is I need to lead. I need to be the leader in taking segments of the draft as opposed to a follower. So given that how things are going and who will be available to me at the end of the first round, the tight ends are of significant value with the 1-2 pick, right? And so we're going to use my app. We're going to use 16 Rounds Plus to help us pick players. And I invite you to go to 16roundsplus.com to check out the app. This is a special list for tight end premium leagues because player order is different than what you would find in your typical PPR or half PPR league. The tight ends are pushed way up the draft board. You will see that through the course of the second and third round. Approximately 6 to 7 tight ends will come off before my third round pick. Okay, so it's a big deal. They're in high demand. Other players get pushed down the draft board. And basically what I'm looking at here, if we look at, I've got it set up right now for round 1 and 2, pick 12 and 13. It is recommending Jahmyr Gibbs, Travis Kelce, and Isaiah Pacheco. Now, clearly, Gibbs and Kelce, if they both make it to me, will be my selection. But if they don't, A.J. Brown is a wish that to make it to me. I doubt he will. He's usually gone by the 9th pick. So it's a very small possibility he would make it to us. I'd love to start with A.J. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs. That would be awesome. But the other option is, and I'm really not interested in Isaiah Pacheco. It's too early to take him. He is a guy that typically goes end of the second, beginning of the third. He's just out of position here, and he doesn't score enough points. There's not enough projected points there. So for me, a Sam Laporta, Travis Kelce stack is also a possibility here. These would be the 2 highest scoring projected players for the tight ends. It would allow me to dominate the tight end position and a flex This league has 2 flex positions as well, which means it's more viable to go with a multi-tight end strategy. Typically, in a typical single flex fantasy league, you do not want to take 2 elite tight ends because that second tight end clogs up your flex. Like, you never want to sit him because he's so valuable and expensive. But in this league, you actually do have 2 flex spots to go. So here we go. We're going. It's probably going to be a pretty typical first round. And then because we have a long way around the horn, I'm probably going to be pausing the video in between the rounds after we talk about what's going on. But this app is a tool to help you. Now, who else is it recommending here off the list? Chris Olave, it's recommending. Mike Evans, it's recommending. Marvin Harrison, it recommends. Josh Jacobs is a reach here. He's a guy that I could probably get in the 3rd round, which I do like the idea of getting him in the 3rd round. You got Garrett Wilson, who's a long shot to make it to us. I'm a little cooler on Garrett Wilson right now because of what's going on with his quarterback, with Aaron Rodgers. They're having they're just having difficulties adjusting to each other. So, you got Dalton Kincaid, Saquon Barkley's here as a long shot. Saquon Barkley's actually been going ahead of Jahmyr Gibbs, and I hope that's what happens here because I do want Jahmyr Gibbs, and I don't really want Saquon Barkley. He's not really one that I'm interested in. But basically what the app's doing is it's breaking down the player list into pods. And so what we're looking here for our first round pick is that it's looking at all the players between the 1st and 2nd round pick and the 3rd and 4th round pick in this case. All right. Because I get them together. So it's looking at basically all the players for the top 35 picks pretty much. And it rates them according to the Cuddy score, which is consistency, upside, durability, depth chart, and youth. They get points based on how they score on those criteria. Those criteria are added up. That gives you a Cuddy score. It's a score between 0 and 100. Obviously, 100 is best. But basically, if it has a green circle around the Cuddy score, that means it's a recommend. You can take it. I like to take players at the very top of the list. And you will see as we go through this draft, the number of green circles is going to decrease. Right now, there's not that many. But if we scroll to the bottom of the list, you'll see there's a few yellow triangles are risky picks. Red stop signs are no-goes. Don't take them. So, obviously Puka dealing with an injury. He's fallen down here to a no draft. Justin Jefferson, I don't like his quarterback situation. No draft there. Jalen Waddle, he's a 2. You don't want him. Cooper Kupp, risky pick. He is somebody, I don't know if he would make it back to us. I don't think he will. For the 3rd round, but that's someone who I might consider. He's looking very good, and he is healthy right now, even though he is an older player. But so you've got risky players, you got no-goes, and then you got all the recommends at the top of the list. So you just focus on the players at the top of the list. And I've got my draft board off to the side here, and I'm going to be utilizing my queue. So right now, players on the queue: A.J. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, Travis Kelce, Garrett Wilson. Those are the 5 players on my list. Obviously, A.J. Brown's my wish player. I doubt he's going to make it. So we'll see what happens here. And then once we're done with the first round, we're just going to click this little arrow to go to round 2, 3, and we're going to look at who the app is recommending for the next set of rounds. So that's basically all you do. You just utilize it. It's like a live tool you utilize in a draft, in a live draft, and it's just making recommendations to you and letting you know when players are being selected. It gives you the best idea as to when you need to target players. And so that's basically how it works. So we're almost to us. Oh, look at that. Look, both Jahmyr Gibbs and A.J. Brown did come off early. Of course they did, because those were the guys that I wanted, right? So it's almost to me. So we're going to see what happens here. Now, it looks like there's Garrett Wilson, Saquon Barkley, Puka Nacua, Jonathan Taylor. I think I might end up with whatever this guy does. I might end up going bully tight end. I think that might be the route I'm going here with my guys coming off so early, which is too bad. I'm disappointed that Jahmyr Gibbs went so early. But watch, he's probably going to take one tight end. He's probably going to take a tight end, and just to mess with me, and that's just what happens. So anyway, And if you look at the tight end scores, how many points they're going to score, it's significant because of that tight end premium. All right, he did take Garrett Wilson. So you know what? That leaves me in the position to grab the top 2 tight ends. Again, I want to be the leader in the areas that I can. And so to get the number 1 and number 2 tight end is what I am going to do here. So I'm going to take Travis Kelce, and I'm going to take Sam Laporta. So we've loaded ourselves up with a tight end and our first flex spot, which I really like. And if we wanted to, in the next set of rounds, I could go for another tight end, like someone like maybe Kyle Pitts, Jake Ferguson, and lock up my flexes with high-scoring elite tight ends. But we'll see what happens here. But now that we've made our picks, let's go to round 3, 4, excuse me. And you can see here that it is recommending recommending Rachaad White. Let's see here. So we've got Rachaad White, and it's also recommending Josh Jacobs, who is a long shot to make it to us at our pick, but I think there's a good chance he could. All right, hold on here. Where is Rachaad White? He didn't get added. I'm just going to put Isaiah Pacheco up here just in case he does make it back to us, because I'd love to get him, but I doubt he's going to make it. He's typically going at around pick 28. That is not. We are at pick 36, our next pick, so it's going to be a long time for us. Who else is it recommending? All right, so for wide receivers, we've got Michael Pittman, who actually I've been going more and more in on Pittman as I've been going through the draft process. And one of the big reasons why is, first of all, he is a wide receiver 1 on his team and the backup quarterback to Anthony Richardson, who should be great, is Joe Flacco. And Joe Flacco has just been amazing for receivers when he gets into the lineup. So anyway, we'll go with that. I definitely think I want to get a running back on the next round. I mean, getting someone like Josh Jacobs or Rachaad White are both excellent RB1s to kind of anchor the team. But let's just keep looking down the list. So we've got Joe Mixon, who I'm not really interested in drafting. He's dealing with a hamstring injury, so I'm a little cool on him. We've got and we've got some quarterbacks. Actually, this would be the round to grab an elite quarterback. And again, if we want to be the leader, be someone who's driving the draft, who's controlling the draft from our position, where we would want to grab someone like an elite quarterback. So that would be Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, or Patrick Mahomes. So to get ourselves a top 3 quarterback is also a really good strategy for our next round of picks. So I'll put them all on there. And let's see who else does it like on the board. Let's see here. So we've got a player like Zay Flowers, who, let me just get him queued up here, Zay Flowers. And I love to use the queue because it also gives me a heads up if anyone happens to fall on the draft board, okay? So from a prior round, now in the first round it didn't really happen. All the guys I wanted were all taken. But, going forward, this is a good strategy. Now here's a couple of tight ends, Evan Engram, Jake Ferguson. So we've got a couple of really good tight ends that score a lot of points. I mean, again, 227 points projected for Evan Engram based on the tight end premium. That compares very favorably with someone like Michael Pittman, who's projected to score 231. That's why it's a realistic bet, and it would allow me to fill my second flex spot. That would allow me to dominate the flex, right? I could dominate the flex with 2 elite tight ends if that's the route I want to go. I'm not sure I want to go that route. I really would like to get either a running back or a wide receiver, along with perhaps an elite quarterback. That's kind of the way I'm looking. Who else is on the list here? So we've got running backs like Kenneth Walker. And where is Kenneth Walker? There he is. George Pickens, the wide receiver. And you can see these are all recommends. They all score enough cutting points that they are recommends. So let's see here. George Pickens, where are you? There's George Pickens. There's the quarterbacks. Stephon Diggs is a risky pick. I'm not really interested in him. There's Kyle Pitts. Now, Kyle Pitts was one that I was talking about that we could take with our next pick, along with, Evan Engram did rank much higher. Does appear to be, higher on the depth chart than Kyle Pitts. I I mean, I'm not sure. Evan Ingram might be the number one on his team. Not really projecting that out right now because he should fall back from what he got last year. But still pretty good. And now we're down to a bunch of risky picks and no-goes much later. So we're not really interested in these guys. So we've got a nice large queue right now, 12 players. The chances all 12 of these guys going before it gets back to me are very slim. But I'm just going to pause the video now. We'll come back when we're within 3. We'll see where we're at, and we'll see where we want to go. All right, so we're rapidly approaching coming back to us. So there have now been a total of 5 tight ends taken. There was 3 more taken in the second round. I'm surprised that another one has not come off here in the third round. Basically, it looks like I had 12 guys queued up. I still have 11 on the board, so I've got plenty of options to choose from here. If they allow like Evan Ingram to fall to me, I could just go Ingram and then get myself. Oh no, he went. Yeah, there is one more tight end I'd be interested in. Much that I can get much later. Actually, there's a couple that I'm interested in. But for what we got right now, we'll see what happens here. I could double up on my running backs here. Rachaad White, Josh Jacobs, get them both if they both make it to me. Pittman's off the board. Actually, that's a relief. I'm okay with that. And let's see what happens here. Now, obviously, no quarterbacks have been taken. So again, this is a chance for me to lead and be the first one to take an elite quarterback, which I do very much like. Obviously, Josh Allen would be my choice. I could go with the stack with Patrick Mahomes, but I don't like to have 2 elite players off the board like that. Okay, so DK Metcalf came off. So we got a lot of options here. We got all these running backs, Josh Jacobs, Rachaad White, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Zay Flowers, Kyle Pitts, Kenneth Walker, George Pickens. I was big on Zay Flowers, but there's an issue with the bye week because that's during the championship week. But let me see here. I think what I want to do, and again, I want to get players on elite teams. Josh Jacobs is dealing with an injury right now, a groin injury, which can linger. That makes him a little bit less desirable than Rachaad White. Rachaad White does rate better, and it's a contract year for Rachaad White. That's what that little $ means next to his name. So I'm going to take Rachaad White as my RB1, and then I am going to go take my QB1, projected to be the highest scoring quarterback in the league this year. Again, he's amazing, Josh Allen. So I got myself the tight end 1, the tight end 2, and the QB 1 in my first 4 picks. So I have stacked up my points very nicely here with these 3. Rachaad White is a decent option for his projections at 230 points. But for, if we look at Josh Allen, 346 projected points. So I've got a lot of built-in points here. So let's go to the next round, and I really need to get some wide receivers. This next round is going to be a round to get some wide receivers. I can't wait too long. There should still be some good ones available. But let's look at the list. It's recommending Jaden Reed, CJ Stroud, Najee Harris. Okay, so there's some good options there. So let's first of all, let's focus on the wide receivers. I'm just going to use the filter just to show the wide receiver players. And you can see that there's going to be some good ones here. So Jaden Reed, who I consider to be the wide receiver 1 for Green Bay. Calvin Ridley, the wide receiver 1 for Tennessee, not as good an offense. I would like to get better offenses. Deontay Johnson, again, the number 1 wide receiver for Carolina, but not a good offense. Amari Cooper is very intriguing here. He's never had really a good connection with, nobody's had a good connection with Watson, right? But his backup is, who is his backup again? I had it up here earlier. I don't have it. A good passing failed quarterback, basically. You can see here we've also got Ladd McConkey. I'm a little bit cooler on Ladd McConkey right now because of the injury issues that are both affecting him and Justin Herbert, who's going to miss a few weeks during training camp. Where are you, Ladd? There's Ladd McConkey. All right, and we've got Chris Godwin. No, Xavier Worthy is a risky pick. T. Higgins, risky pick. Tank Dell. I'm going to put Tank Dell on here because, after all, we're shooting for the moon here. We're shooting for $1 million. You take the upside of a player like Tank Dell. He was so explosive last year. Some other no-goes: Rashee Rice, Terry McLaurin, Christian Kirk, Keenan Allen, Hollywood Brown. I don't like Hollywood Brown at all. I will also put on, let's see here, Xavier Worthy, because he was on the list as a risky pick. But let's look at some of the other positions here. So if we look at running back, we could go running back Najee Harris or Jaylen Warren. I do prefer Jaylen Warren because they're both on contract years, but I just think Jaylen Warren has the upside. He's the more talented back. Ramondre Stevenson is a long shot to make it to us, but I don't really like the offense. But he should have a good role. Jonathan Brooks, not a guy I've been drafting at all because of his injury issue coming back from that ACL tear. I don't like to draft players coming off of a season-ending injury. We got Zamir White as a risky pick, so I'm just going to put him on the list. Where are you, Zamir? Zamir White. Again, not a great offense, but he should get all the work there. We don't need a quarterback, and we really don't need a tight end. But if we wanted to take a tight end on this round, it'd be Brock Bowers, Pat Freiermuth as a reach, David Njoku. So let's just go ahead. I'm going to put him on the queue. Tight ends. So we got Bowers and Njoku and Freiermuth. Okay, so I got tons. I got 18 players on the queue right now. I'm in great shape. I'm feeling really good about this. What we're going to do is we're going to just pause. I'll come back when we're within 3. We'll see where we're at, and we'll see where we want to go. All right, it's almost back to me here. It went very fast. As you can see, a bunch of 5 quarterbacks have been taken since I took my quarterback. Well, 4. So obviously that was a good plan to take my quarterback at that point. But now, again, I want to get some wide receivers. But some of the guys I really wanted, Cooper, Pickens, Zay Flowers, all went. Right now on the board, Tank Dell is still there. Christian Kirk, T. Higgins, not really interested in any of those guys. My 2 top recommends, Jaden Reed and Calvin Ridley, are still there. They both score about 200 fantasy points, which is pretty good. Boy, this is a little tough, but I absolutely need to get my wide receivers here. This is very important. And look at that, another quarterback. Look at how many quarterbacks were taken. So I'm so glad I got the first one. All right, so let's just look at specifically at the wide receivers. And you know what? I could go Tank Dell here, who is a very risky pick. But Calvin Ridley, I think, is a much more solid bet. I think okay, I think I'm going to take Tank Dell has a week 14 bye. I can't afford that. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to take Calvin Ridley. And I'm just going to look over the rest of the list here. I could take Rashee Rice. I think Jaden Reed has a higher ceiling than him because of all the target competition. Plus, I already have a Kansas City player. I would normally take Tank Dell, but that week 14 bye, that's a championship week for this league, and then it goes into the bonus round. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take Jaden Reed. And I love Jaden Reed. I've taken a ton of him. Again, the reason why is because this guy got 94 targets as a rookie. He's going into year 2. He was a top 36 player. And anytime you have a top 36 wide receiver going into year 2, they on average see a 30% increase in their targets. So I love that. Calvin Ridley, I love because we're already having health issues with Hopkins. Hopkins is going to miss the entire preseason and maybe the beginning of the season. We'll see what happens. So he's going to be the primary receiver there, number 1. And again, I like the Tennessee offense as being a surprise upside offense. So we'll see what happens there. But that gives me my 1 and 2. So that's pretty good. Again, it would have been better if I got one of these guys, but it just wasn't in the cards. So let's go to the next round. And let's see here. So first of all, I think I'm going to want to pivot back to running backs. And there are some interesting options here as far as running backs goes. We've got Tajay. Where's Tajay? Although, given that I just took Calvin Ridley, maybe I'm not super interested in that. We got Tajay. DeAndre Swift would be an interesting choice. I know he's a risky pick, but and we'll see if he even makes it to us. He's a long shot to make it to us. Trey Benson, he hasn't really been doing anything in camp, so I'm a little bit cool on him. But Blake Corum, I do like. Where are you, Blake Corum? There's Blake Corum. Javonte Williams, that's another one that I'm interested in. Contract year, 2 years removed from his injury. Zach Moss is a long shot to make it to us. If Zach Moss, well, again, he's a risky pick. I'm a little bit cooler on him as well because the other guy in Cincinnati, what's his name? Chris. Do I see him here? Chase Brown has been getting a lot of buzz. Looks like they're going at about the same point. I might take the upside play with Chase Brown. All right, let's see here. Now, wide receivers on this round. We got Addison. We've got, look at this. Keon Coleman. All right, so let's see here. Where are you, Keon? Keon Coleman. I like that because that would get me a stack with Josh Allen. That would be great. Brian Thomas. Let's see here. Jackson Smith and Jigba, Xavier Worthy. I think I already got Worthy on here. All right. I don't need a quarterback right now. I really don't need a tight end, but Freiermuth is one that I would be very interested in as a tight end with upside, as he appears to be the wide receiver 2 on that team. That'd be a big move up for him in the pecking order, and the volume should follow that. And plus, we know Arthur Smith does like to focus on the tight end position, so there's definitely some upside there. So, again, I'm back to 17 players on my queue, and we're just going to pause, and I'll come back, and we'll see where we're at, and we'll see where we're going to go. All right, this is running super close here. Rashee Rice came off. I was hoping he might make it to us. But let's see what these two guys do, which direction they go, as far as if they decide to take a quarterback or maybe a tight end or... All right, this is looking pretty good here. So let's see who this guy takes. And this is a nail biter here, but let's see what happens. Oh, he is just taking his sweet time, man. Jeez. Ugh, this is driving me crazy. All right. So I've got a couple of really good options here. So I'm kind of excited about what I could do with this pick. So it looks like it's going to auto pick. All right, great. Okay, awesome. My guys made it. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Jalen Warren made it. And this is the guy with all the receiving work as far as in that running back backfield. He's taken all the receiving work away from Najee Harris. He's a more talented back. I feel he is going to take over. Najee, they didn't extend him for a fifth for his fifth year in his contract. I think Jalen is the future of this backfield. And with Arthur Smith, I think he's going to figure that out pretty quickly. And now I'm going to get, I want to get the stack with Josh Allen. And that would be Keon Coleman, who is his wide receiver 1. And so this is Awesome. This is great. I just want to look and just make sure there's nobody else on here that's jumping out at me that I need to take. Pat Freiermuth would be nice, but he's never going to make it back to me. But I think I got to take Keon Coleman here. Keon Coleman in my flex, stack with Josh Allen. That is outstanding in the 8th round. Love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay, great. So I pretty much have my whole team built out now, except for the kicker and defense, which I'll do much later. All right, so that went pretty well. I got to say, I'm very happy with what I got. This is a PPR league with the tight end premium. I got 2 running backs that are going to catch a lot of balls this year, so that's a lot of points there. And also just the wide receivers that I got, getting Keon Coleman in the 8th. Absolutely outstanding to go stack with Josh Allen. Fantastic there. I'm really feeling good about this. I feel like I did lock up the flex positions, winning that position, winning the quarterback, winning the tight end position, and I also got the Jets as my defense. I consider them the number 1 defense in the league this year with great matchups. Man, look at the schedule that the Jets have to start the season. It's absolutely outstanding to score a lot of points. So this is a great team. I'm very excited about bringing this thing into the tournament, and I think I'm going to go far with this team. I'm feeling really confident. But let me know what you think, man. And also, I hope you saw the value of the app, of the 16 Rounds Plus app. Again, it is very helpful. Go to the app. Go to 16roundsplus.com to check it out. You can sign up. Get access to a free limited version of the app. If you like it, you can subscribe. Use it in all your drafts. It's got a special mode for best ball. It's got a special mode for the tight end premium, which is what we were using because, again, in tight end premiums, the tight ends are pushed up the board. You got to know when you need to take them. That's what this app is designed to do. It's designed to help you with that. But anyway, hey, thank you very much for sticking out through the whole thing. I appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up if you haven't done so already, and leave a comment down below. And have a great day, everybody.